Okay, good evening, everyone. So in the last class, we created our Amazon account and we enabled the multi-factor authentication, right? Okay, so today we start discussing about our, one second. Okay, today we will start our first service on Amazon platform, which is identity access management. So this identity access management is a basic service, and this is required for all the type of certifications, like whether you are planning for architect or whether you are planning for a developer or a sysops admin, whatever the role you are going to choose, this service is a mandatory for everyone. This identity access management will give you the centralized control of your Amazon account. What kind of centralized control? What is the meaning of a centralized control or a centralized management of your account? From a single place, you can maintain or you can manage the entire Amazon account. To understand that better, let us say you are working for a company. So in a company, there will be multiple employees exist, right? Not a single person. So in that, let us say you created one Amazon account, and whenever you create the Amazon account, the first account is called as a root account, right? And with which we logged in using the email address and password. Assume that this is the Amazon account which we created in the last session. And in your organization, you have 100 employees. Out of the 100 employees, it is not required to allow all the 100 people to access the Amazon account, right? Out of these 100 people are related to the cloud. Out of these 100, 20 people are going to work on your AWS cloud. Now the question is how these 20 people can log into your Amazon account. You might say that we can create a separate Amazon account for each and every employee. Then as an organization, how can we manage 20 different Amazon accounts? Because if I create something on my account, you cannot see. And if you create something on your account, I cannot see your account, right? So then the 20 individual Amazon accounts is not a good idea. But that doesn't mean that we cannot share the same username and password with all the 20 people. Already we have a root user and which has email and the password combination to log into the Amazon account, right? If I share these credentials to all the 20 people, everybody can log in. And the problem is we cannot track which user is doing what kind of activities. If something got deleted from the cloud, so how can we track that which user got deleted that? Because everything will be recorded on this particular email ID and password. So always it is recommended to have an individual user account for each and every employee. And moreover, out of these 20 employees, let us say 5 people require admin access, like full access on your Amazon account, that like these 5 people can create anything and delete anything. And let us say there are 10 more people who requires just a read access. That means they can see what is happening in the cloud and what services are running, how many servers are there and everything. And there are 5 more people who requires full access on a one service only, like only a storage service or something. In this case, always it is not recommended to provide full access to each and every employee. Let us say for these 10 people, if I give the full permissions to do anything, they can misuse the permissions. Always it is Amazon recommends limit the user with the minimum required permission. What is the meaning of that? Let us say you guys are enrolling for some so-and-so AWS class. That doesn't mean that you can attend any class happening in the Naresh IT, right? You are restricted to attend only Naresh IT. So how can they track you? By using some kind of ID card or something, right? Based on that, you will be used only the AWS related things. In the same way, we have to create a separate individual user accounts for each and every employee, and we need to give the respective permissions. What I can do here, let us say out of these 5 people, I can create 5 different accounts like user 1, user 2, user 3, and so on up to user 5. What I do is I can apply some permissions to these 3 users so that these 3 users can do anything on your Amazon account. And I will create 10 different users and I will provide only read-only access. I will create 5 more individual users and I will give full permission on a single service like storage, server, database, like that. So that we can provide only the required permissions to the individual users instead of allowing everybody to access any kind of a service and performing any kind of an action. Already we have a user account called root user, and all these individual users are called as IAM user. What is the meaning of this is this IAM users belongs to specific AWS account only. These 20 users can log into this Amazon account, and these 20 users cannot log into your Amazon account. Let us say, I will compare this with a small example. Let us say if you log in, if you are working for a company, you join for a new company, then they will allocate you one laptop or desktop, right? What kind of a username and password they will give you? They will create a separate user account and password for yourself, right? They don't share someone else's password to use it. What is the reason? Because they need to track each and every user what they are doing. And also, if you are joining as like a developer or a QE team or a support team, they don't give you the admin permissions. That means sometimes you cannot even install softwares in your laptop also. But the administrator team, there is a separate employees who is working as an IT team or something, and they will have the full permissions. And every user belongs to the same organization. Depending on their roles or depending on their position, they will get the required permissions. That everything is called as limiting the users with the what we call that restricted access. If I create one user called user 8, and if I give only read only permission, what he can do is this user 8 can view anything in your account, but he cannot create a new server or he cannot delete any existing server. So these kind of permissions will be useful for the monitoring team. There might be working in the cloud only, but if there are like juniors, like with 1 year experience or a freshers, they might ask you to only monitor for a few days. Like they have to monitor how the servers are working, what is the CPU utilization, such kind of a things. In that case, they are enough with the read only permission. And not only this, like how to apply the permissions. Like we can apply the permissions using some concept called a policy, or by using some concept called a group, or there is something called roles, which we can give some permissions to the resources also. All these things we are going to discuss in this particular identity access management. In a simple statement, how can we define that identity access management or IAM service? How can we define this? This IAM will provide security for your Amazon account. So how can we say that security? Because we are not allowing anybody to any kind of actions, right? We are restricting everyone. Like I can say the administrator might restrict me not to create or delete anything. That is also a type of a security, right? If I got some unnecessary permissions, by mistakenly, I can delete something else. So by using this identity access management, we can secure our Amazon account and we can provide shared access to the AWS account. What is the meaning of a shared access? What is the meaning of a shared access? That doesn't mean that we are sharing the username and password. We never share single username and password with multiple people. We are sharing the Amazon account with multiple people using individual user accounts. Just simple thing. Here is a room, right? This room is shared by multiple people. This room is shared by multiple people and they are using their own things. They are not given like a single thing to use by everybody. They do have their individual things to work on their like learning or something. If I say shared account means we are sharing that account with a common username and password. I can say, okay, username is user1 and the password is password. If I give that particular username and password to everyone, that is called as a shared account. But we are not giving in that way. What we are doing, we will create one common account and we will allow everybody to access the common account by using their individual user accounts. I think there is a Gmail is there, right? Gmail server is the same one, but there are like millions of people who is using the same Gmail with their own email and password. Like Gmail will never give you like single username and password for everybody to monitor or to access their email services. Account will be the same and the accessibility will be the different. Everybody will have their own username and password to access their common Amazon account. And then by using this identity access management, and this is also called as IAM. In short, we call it as IAM. By using this IAM, we can secure our AWS account. What kind of security we can do? Yesterday, we enabled the multi-factor authentication on the newly created AWS account, right? If you observe clearly, that multi-factor authentication concept belongs to the identity access management. So how we enable, just we clicked on the account name and then we clicked on the security credentials, right? So that we got the MFA option. If you observe the name of that particular page, you can see that that is an identity access management. So multi-factor authentication is a service or a feature of identity access management service. So what is the use case of that particular multi-factor authentication? To secure our Amazon account. So what are the different types of security measures we have to take to secure our Amazon account? Which one? Two-factor authentication. Yes, already we are done with that. And then we have one more thing called password policy. Password policy. Because we are going to create multiple users, right? How can you make sure that the users will use the complex password? If they are using a simple password, that will be very easy to break the password and to guess the password. So that's why we have to make sure that every user will use a complex password. We can define what is a complex password later. But that doesn't mean that we can go to each and every employee and we cannot ask that what is your password and what is the length and everything, right? We will use some kind of a policy. Policy means some set of rules so that the user has to follow the policy to fulfill the requirement. So whenever the user is going to change his password, he has to follow the password policy. The password policy is also to secure our Amazon accounts and whatever the data you are storing in your Amazon account. Sometimes, let us try with this. You can create a Gmail account, and while you're creating the Gmail account, use a simple password like 12345678. Do you think that your Gmail account is secure? No. Anybody can easily guess the password. That's why always we have to use the complex password. That's why every organization will follow their own password policy and they will force the password policies to all the employees. They don't manually check. They will apply these kind of a policies and the users have to follow the policy. If they don't follow the policy, the password cannot be changed. They cannot change the password. If the password is fulfilling all the requirements, then only the account will be changing or the user can change his password to a new password. Like this, we have a lot of options available. Like we can integrate our Amazon account with some other's Amazon account also. That will comes under AWS organizations concept. Okay, so for the security, we can use our identity access management. And what all we can do with this is, in this IAM, we are going to discuss about a few things, which are, the first one is the users. The first one is the users. Second one is a groups. Third one is a policies. And finally, we have one more thing called a roles. Roles. These are the 4 things which we are going to discuss in this particular identity access management. And before starting the discussion about all these things, first we have to focus on our Amazon account, because if we start creating the users, there is no customized password policy for your users, right? So there is a chance that your users can use very weak passwords. For that reason, before starting the identity access management topic, let us create a password policy for our Amazon account. And the password policy is also a feature of identity access management. Password policy is also a feature of identity access management. And one more thing is, to be on safer side, let us enable a billing alarm on our Amazon account. What is a billing alarm? Like whenever on your account, the total estimated charges are going more than a specific value, like $2, $3, or whatever it is, then Amazon will send you one email alert, so that we can quickly log into our Amazon account and we can check what all services are running, and we can delete all unwanted or the paid services, so that we can be like ahead of time to stop all the paid services. So first we will go with those 2 things. One is a billing alarm and the second one is a password policy. Then we will come back to these terminologies like users, groups, policies and roles, and we will discuss about those 4 terms. So first thing what we are going to do is, let us create the billing alarm, which is the basic necessity for all the training accounts. Like whatever the Amazon accounts we are going for learning purpose, always it is recommended to create the billing alarm. So first thing, let us discuss about the billing alarm. Let us write down about this. I can say that the billing alarm is used to alert if the total estimated charges of AWS account is exceeding a threshold value. What is the meaning of a threshold value? Threshold, like a kind of a value which we have set as a maximum, right? Okay. So what we do is, we will create a billing alarm on AWS account for $5. Can't we create an alarm in the INR, Indian rupees? As of now, you cannot. Might be in the future, they might allow or they might implement a feature to monitor the bills on the Indian rupees also. The total bill will be generated in the US dollars, but while you are paying the bill on that day, based on the conversion ratio, Amazon will charge you in Indian rupees only. Initially, the bill will be generated like or monitored using the US dollars, but finally you will get the bill in Indian rupees only. Okay, right. So now first we will do all these things, and here there is one point you have to remember is this billing alarm to be created in a region called Northern Virginia region. The important point here is billing alarm must be created in Northern Virginia region. Why? Okay, before that, if I create the billing alarm in the region, in that specific region, is it going to monitor the charges in that region or across all the regions? If it is going to charge in the same region, there is no use, right? Because if I configure in region 1, there might be charges in region 2, region 3, somewhere else. So here Amazon will monitor the total charges across all the regions on your Amazon account. So for creating the thing, they have to restrict you to a single region to avoid the confusion and to mess up the things. Just they're restricted, or they are allowing you to create the billing alarm from the Northern Virginia. Let us say if I go to the Mumbai region, And if I try to create the billing alarm, you will not find that option to create the billing alarm. Somewhere it has to be available, right? That's why Amazon is making that billing alarm available in a region called Northern Virginia. The reason behind why they took that region is the Northern Virginia is the first region on Amazon cloud at the time, like 2006. That is the first region on AWS cloud. Okay. And sometimes you might get confused with this billing alarm because we are going to use two different services called CloudWatch and SNS. Actually, we don't know what is these services, but we cannot wait to create a billing alarm to complete these two services, because we will discuss about these services after 30 days or 40 days. In the meanwhile, the bills will be generated and you might be in trouble, right? So that's why without knowing about these two services, we are going to create the billing alarm. Just I will show you how to create, so you can follow the steps and you can create it. Actually, this CloudWatch is a monitoring tool because we are going to monitor the bill, right? That's why we are using the monitoring tool. And this is a notification service. What is the use of a notification service? It will send you an email whenever the bill is more than $5, right? To send the email, this notification service will be used. That is called as a subscription-based service. Do you guys know what is a subscription-based service? I think if you go for any online stores, there will be an option called subscribe for promotional offers. If you have two different accounts, just try to subscribe with one email ID. Whenever they do have some promotional offers, you will receive the offers and everything. And the second account, you will not get any promotional offers, because whoever subscribe, only they will receive the emails. That is what the subscription based service is. Okay, that we can discuss later, but just now we are going to use that SNS service to trigger the email notifications to the employees. Like whenever the total bill is more than $5, as per our requirement, one email has to be delivered. That email will be delivered using the service called SNS. And using the CloudWatch service, the Amazon accounts total charge will be monitored. Okay, right. So first, let us create this billing alarm, and then we will go with the next things called password policies. So to create this billing alarm, first we have to log into our Amazon account, right? We have to log into our Amazon account. So just to log into Amazon account, we have to use the URL called aws.amazon.com. And then click on sign into the console. For the first few days, I will show you the login process also, so that you guys will be familiar, and then just I will log in well in advance. Okay, click on the sign into the console. And then you will be taken to this page where there are two different types of users available. One is a root user and the second one is a IAM user. We haven't created any users, any IAM users as of now. And we have only one user called a root user, right? So select the root user and type the email address. Which email address it is? The email address which we have used at the time of Amazon account creation. Enter the email address and click on next. Sometimes they will ask you to enter the CAPTCHA just to prove that you are not the robot or automated bots. Then enter the password. And on our Amazon account, we enable multi-factor authentication, right? That's why whenever you click on sign in, it will ask you to provide the multi-factor authentication code. So just enter that code from your multi-factor authentication device. It can be a mobile application or it can be a physical device. Whatever you configured, that you have to use. If you use some other Google Authenticator app, it won't work. Okay, so this is our Amazon account, right? And first thing, what we have to do, we have to create one billing alarm, right? To create the billing alarm, on the top right corner, you can see the account name, right? Naresh IT 16. Click on that. Click on that. And you can click on billing dashboard. Click on billing dashboard. So before creating the billing alarm, there are some prerequisites which we have to enable that I will show you. Click on billing dashboard so that you will be taken to this page. On this page, on the left side, if you scroll down, you can find out an option called billing preferences. Click on billing preferences. So here you can see there are 3 different checkboxes available, right? To create the billing alarm, this one is a mandatory. This checkbox you have to select for the billing alarm. If you don't select this checkbox, you don't receive any billing alarms. But I recommend to enable all the checkboxes, and I will explain about each and every option. What will happen if you enable all these checkboxes? If you enable this checkbox, you are giving your consent to receive the billing alerts. If you don't select this checkbox, Amazon cannot monitor your billing, total estimated charges or billing, and it cannot send you any alarm if something is going wrong. And then here the another option is receive free tier usage alerts. What is the meaning of that? If I select this checkbox, every Amazon account will comes with some free tier features, right? Let us say there is a storage service called S3 where you will get 5 GB of a free space. Whenever you are exceeding more than like 85% of that free space or free tier usage, they will send you the email alert. So here you have to provide your email address. This option is nowhere related with the billing alarm. This selected option is to send you an alert if you are about to exceed the free tier usage limits. Like storage is a 5 GB, right? If you are using already like 4.5 GB, that means almost you have utilized 90% of the free tier usage. Then you will receive one email alert. By seeing that, you can stop the usage and you can avoid the additional charges. And by seeing the first option, what is the meaning of the first option? What will happen if I select the first checkbox? Every month, Amazon will generate a bill, right? So by default, they don't send you that invoice on your email, like bill. So if you select this checkbox, a PDF invoice will be sent to your email on every month whenever there is a bill got generated. So always I will recommend to select all these checkboxes so that everything will be in your in your vicinity. Like you can monitor everything from your email, especially related to the billing category. Once you select all these checkboxes, click on Save Preferences. Once you modify these billing preferences, you are good to go with creation of billing alarm. So to create the billing alarm, just go back to your Amazon homepage, like aws.amazon.com, or you can click on this particular AWS logo. Here you can see right on top left corner, you can see the AWS logo, right? If you click on that, you will be taken to the AWS console page. So that from here, you can go to any service as per the requirement. So we have enabled all the prerequisites to create the billing alarm. Now let us proceed with the creation of the billing alarm for $5 US. If we create that, what will happen here is, if your account is going more than $5 per month, you will receive the email alert. So here you can see some search box, right? Actually, to create the billing alarm, we have to use a service called CloudWatch. That is a monitoring service. So click on services, and from here you have to search for where exactly the CloudWatch is. As a beginner, we cannot remember that in which module we can get the CloudWatch service. To make it easier, Amazon is providing you a search field here. Click on the search and type CloudWatch. So here is the service called CloudWatch, which can be used to monitor your resources and applications. On Amazon platform, anything can be monitored using the CloudWatch. Click on the CloudWatch service and make sure that you're in Northern Virginia region. Okay, it seems my account is not yet completed. Just give me a second. Sometimes they will take 24 hours to complete the activation process. Most of the time, instantly it will be done, but sometimes you will get like this. So just click, I clicked on that complete verification process. Now let me re-log in. Okay, it seems we have to wait. Let me check the email. Am I received any kind of notification from the Amazon? Like sometimes they might ask some additional information also. Okay. Okay, it seems the account is on hold. It seems they are unable to validate, and they asked me to provide a current bill or something. So until I provide those details, they don't activate my account. So what I do is today I will upload the required documents. So generally this problem will comes if you don't provide the valid address. Even yesterday, while we are creating the Amazon account, just I gave some number, that's it, right? I haven't given the complete address. So if I upload the documents and if I send an email, then they will activate the account by updating my valid address. If I don't submit, my account will be deleted. Okay, so that was recently introduced. Earlier, they don't care about like what kind of address we have provided. Okay, right. So now, based on this, we cannot create the billing alarm now. So what we do is we will postpone that billing alarm for the tomorrow's session, and we will go with the password policy, because the CloudWatch is not a free service. No free, I mean, only free services can be used even if your account is not activated. CloudWatch is not a free service that is available on chargeable basis, but there is a free tier fee, limit available. So whatever the billing alarm we are going to create, that is not chargeable. So no need to worry. So now what we do is we will go with the IAM and we will try to check what is a password policy, and we will try to enable the password policy on our account. So for the next session, I will make this account to be active so that we can continue with the billing alarm and we can start discussing about the IAM, like users, groups, policies, and everything. So I can say that today we are not starting our first Amazon service. Still, we are dealing with our Amazon account security, like by creating the password policy and everything. If we start discussing about the IAM users, then only we can say that we started discussing about the AWS services. Okay, so now here, let me check whether it is a possible or not also. Let me go back to the aws.amazon.com. Give me a second. First, before starting about the password policy discussion, let me check that Amazon is allowing me to create the password policy or not. Because if we discuss theoretically and if it doesn't allow us, then there is no use. Just what I'm doing is I'm logging in with a different account just to show you the password policy, because that is not allowing me to do all these things. Okay. So first we will discuss about the password policy. What is the password policy? What does password policy contains? It defines how the password should be. Let us say if I create one user account for you. So what you can do, you have to set your own password. Over a period of time, you can change your passwords, and you might use a password like this one, which is not a complex password and easy to guess. So nowadays, what every organization is doing is they are going to define their own password policy, and that password policy is going to be applied to each and every user, so that every user has to follow the password policy. What exactly the password policy contains? The password policy contains the rules to make the password to be a complex password. So when can we say that the password is a complex password? On what basis we can say that the password is a complex password? If I use a password which is a 6 characters in length, is it a secure password? No. So based on the length, we can decide whether the password is a complex or not, right? First option will be minimum number of characters. Or we can say that the password length. Both are same. Few people will use as a password length, or few people will call it as minimum number of characters. So what is the ideal number of characters for a password? 8. No company will use, or no organization will use the 8 characters as a password. They consider that 8 characters as the weak password and they will avoid it. Different organizations will use a different policies. Few people will use a 14 characters. Few people might use 18, 20. That depends on their organizational policies. By sitting here, we cannot decide what will be the password length. Depending on your organization, you have to follow the guidelines. Let us go with 12 characters as a minimum length, so that while we are practicing, that will be easy for us to remember the password. If I use the 20 characters password, that will be hard for me to remember all the passwords. Okay. And then on what basis we can say that the password is a complex? Okay, we say like 12 characters is the good password. But if I use the password like this, is it a good password? No, because at least one uppercase character must exist. Or we can say that uppercase or a capital letter, uppercase character or uppercase letter. And then we have to use the lowercase letter and a number, or we can call it as a numeric, and a special character. And technically we can call it as non-alpha numeric character. Non-alpha numeric. Alphabet means ABCD. Numeric means numbers. Non-alpha numeric means which is not characters and numbers. Special character like @ exclamatory, hash, these all comes into that special character. So if any password is maintaining or following these rules, can we say that the password is a good password or a complex password? Yes, but still every company will use few other policies for the password. What are those is password age. Password age. What is the meaning of a password age? Any password can be used maximum for these many days. If I say the password age is 60 days, no user can use the same password for more than 60 days. What will happen on 61st day? Your password will be expired. Again, there will be two options. Administrator can reset your password, or while you are logging in, it will say that your password got expired and please change the password. I think whenever you are using the net banking, you might have seen such kind of messages, right? So I think the net banking people will take it like 90 days or so. And then there is one more thing called password history. Let us say I got my new password like 60 days before. Today morning, my password got expired. So today I have to change my password, right? Otherwise, I cannot log in. While changing the password, if I use the same old password as a new password, then there is no use of changing the password, right? That's why we will keep a history of the passwords. If I say the password history is 5, the latest 5 passwords cannot be used as a new password. Just I will give you a simple example. So here there is a password which is changed on January, that is 12345. In February, I used this password. Now I am changing the password. I cannot use these 2 passwords as a new password because it will maintain the history of the previous 5 passwords. If you are using any of the passwords in the last 5 passwords, it will ignore your password change request. It will not allow you. Okay, that's why every company will use that password history. Based on this, let us create one password policy. On our Amazon account, let us create a new password policy with these policies or these rules. Let us see how to create that password policy. Create a new password policy based on the above mentioned points. The same thing, like minimum number of characters to be 12, one uppercase, lowercase, special character, number, password age should be 60 days, password history must be 5. While we are creating the password policy, we can discuss about one more option called password expiry. What should happen if the password got expired? That I will show you at the time of a creation. Okay, right. And here to create the password policy, first log into your Amazon account. Log into your Amazon account and just click on your account name, which is on the top right corner. Then click on security credentials. Click on security credentials. Then you will be taken to this page. What you are able to see on the top left side. That means this password policy is also a feature of identity and access management. Once we start discussing about the identity access management service, then I will show you a different way to change the password policy, like to get into this page. Right now, we are using the account name and security credentials. There is another way you can navigate to the IAM service, and from there also you can open this page. Okay, so once you are into this particular page, click on this particular option. What happened? Wait a second, guys. I will show you. Wait a second. Give me a second, guys. I don't know, like my account is getting logged out continuously. I have to check. Okay, just once you are into that particular page, on the top right side, you have to click on the account name and click on security credentials, right? Then you will be taken to a page called Identity Access Management. This page. So here on the left side, click on account settings. On the left side, click on account settings. This is the one on the left side. You can click on account settings. Then on the right side, you can see there is one button called change password policy. Click on change password policy. Right now, there is no complex password policy applied on this account. What is the current policy? It is only supporting minimum 8 characters. But as per our policy, what is the minimum length of the password should be? 12 characters. So here in this 8 number, replace this with 12, so that whatever the password you are having on your Amazon account, there must be minimum 12 characters. If someone is trying to use a password which is less than 12 characters, it will be failed. And then the next option will be require at least one uppercase letter. So if I select this checkbox, then the password must include at least one capital letter. And the second one will include a lowercase letter, like small a, b, c, small characters. And require at least one number, require at least one non-alpha numeric character. And these are the non-alpha numeric characters, including the open and close braces. And then enable password expiration. This is nothing but the password age. Select this one, and here I will select 60 days. So today is like June 8th, right? So on August 8th, the password will be expired. I cannot use whatever the password I have on my account after August 8th. I have to change my password. If I don't change my password before August 8th, on August 9th, my password will be expired. What will happen if my password got expired? There are two ways. One is we can reset the password, or administrator requires your password to be reset. So what this option will do if I enable this checkbox is, let us say today morning my password got expired. I haven't changed my password as of now. Actually, I forgot about that. And today is the 61st day. So whenever I try to log in, if that option got enabled, which is the password expiration requires administrator reset, then whenever I try to log in, what it will say is your password got expired and please contact administrator. I have to wait for my administrator to come online and to reset my password. If I don't select this checkbox, what will happen? Whenever I enter my username and password, it will say that your password got expired and please set a new password. Even though my password got expired, it will allow me to change my password. But without changing the password, you cannot get into the next steps. But there will be some option that no need to wait for the administrators to enable your password. So which one is recommended? Selecting the option or leaving the checkbox? Leaving the checkbox. In the real time also, we don't enable this option. So if because the user might be on leave for continuously 2 to 3 days or so, during those days, if the password got expired, the user cannot log in early in the morning or so. To avoid such kind of issues, we will not enable this particular option. We will leave this as is, so that whenever the password got expired, the user will get an option to enable the password with a new password. While enabling a new password, he has to follow all these features. And what is the next option? Allow users to change their own password. Let us say today I got my new password. I have a doubt that one of my colleagues know my password. So I don't want to take a risk and I would like to change my password. That is only possible if I select this one. If we select that checkbox, what will happen here is the users can change their passwords whenever they would like to change. That is the meaning of that, allow users to change their own password. And the last option is prevent password reuse. I use a term called password history, right? That is nothing but prevent password reuse. If it is a 5, the previous 5 passwords cannot be used as a new password. If I say like 3, then the previous 3 passwords cannot be used as a new password. If you go for the banking, let us say HDFC Net Banking, they will maintain the previous 3 or 4 passwords in the history. They will not allow you to use the same password as a new password, or the latest 3 passwords as a new password. So according to your organizational policies, we can design or we can define our password policy. Once you select all the options, you can click on the Save Changes button so that the password policy has been enabled. From now onwards, this Amazon account is enabled with these policies. Here you can see what is the password policy enabled on your account. Minimum password length is 12 characters, at least one uppercase letter, one lowercase letter, one number, one special character. And then what we call that the password history will be 5, and the users can change their own password at any time. And if the password got expired, the users can change their password by entering the correct password. These are the password policies we have enabled on our Amazon account. Okay, so this is about the password policy, and actual account is not yet activated because of the wrong postal address which I mentioned. So today I will upload my details so that mostly by tomorrow we can get our account activated. So one recommendation is, whenever you are creating your new free account, just try to use the proper or a valid postal address. Then you don't get into those kind of issues. Okay, right. So from tomorrow, we will create the billing alarm, and then we can start our identity access management service. Okay, right. Are you guys clear, or any questions? Sorry, come again. No, we haven't created any. That will not, I got your question. Like, let me rephrase your question. Just let me know, like, is that your intention or not? Let us say I have one user and the user's password is not following this password policy. Now, if I enable this, does this automatically apply to the existing passwords or not, right? That is what your question. That will not, that will applicable to all the users, but this policy only applies when the user is setting a password. The very next time, whenever the user is trying to change the password, then it will be applied. So you might have a question like, if the user don't change the password, the user can use the weak password, right? That's why what we do is, there is one option that I will show you at the time of user's creation. There is one option like force the user to change the password at next logout. So whenever the user is trying to log in for the very next time, he will be forced to change the password. Without changing the password, he cannot proceed further. Whenever he is trying to changing the password, he has to follow this particular password policy. That's how we will make sure that everybody will use the password policy. That's why whenever you create the new account, immediately we will enable this password policies. We don't delay in these kind of security things. For root user, normal user, that I will show you, because we haven't started discussing about that IAM user, right? Let us say your question is like, I forgot the password of the root user, right? So what we do, like, generally whenever you're trying to log in, there will be an option called forget password. This is our account, right? Whenever I click on next, let me enter the captcha. So here I have to enter the password, but I don't know the password. So I need to click on the forget password. So I need to enter this. So I will receive one password reset link on the email. So by clicking on that, you can change the password. What if you forgot the MFA? So here you don't have MFA code. Your mobile got formatted. Then you have to click on troubleshoot MFA. Then just you can use sign in using alternative factors. Troubleshoot MFA, sign in using alternative factors. And still, if it doesn't work, then what we have to do is, there is an option called tap it. Am I entering wrong code? Okay. So send verification email. Let me click on that also. So I will receive a verification email here. Let me refresh. By following the instructions, you can reset your MFA code also. Like you can configure the MFA on new device. Okay. But for a normal user, no need to follow that. Being a root user or being an administrator, we can reset for a normal users. For root user, nobody can do that. You have to follow, you have to contact the AWS like this, and so that they will send you a reset links and we can reset the password, or you can reset the MFA also. Most of the time, when you will get the problem with the MFA is whenever you lost your mobile phone or whenever you format your mobile phone, that application will be clear, right? At that time, we might lose the access code. Then we have to use this particular steps. Okay, any other questions? Any other questions? Okay. What I think yesterday which one? Create account. What is the error? But you will receive a email from the Amazon, right? What they mentioned in that? If that is about the address, then you have to upload some identification of yourself. What is that? What it contains? What is the message in that email? That means your account got activated. If you enter all the details properly, your account will be activated. There is no doubt in that. But if you skip something like correct address, then they will do some kind of a verification. Okay. Generally, I used to give some what we call the shortcut for the address. That's why I got the problem. I think I do remember before creating the Amazon account also, I do remember that I said we have to give the proper postal address, right? But while creating, I missed it. That's why I got the issue. Okay, any other questions? So as of now, just we have discussed about the basics of the cloud computing, AWS introduction, and we created the free tier account. And just we secured a free tier account by creating the multi-factor authentication and by enabling the password policy. So our first service, which is the identity access management, somehow we were unable to start today. So tomorrow we can start that identity access management service. Even if the account is not yet activated, just I will come up with an alternative solution. We will use a different account, because sometimes even though they say 24 hours, it might take more than 24 hours because I'm going to submit in the next 1 hour. So 24 hours might be like after like tomorrow, like 8 p.m. or 9 p.m. right? So just I will come up with an alternative account and we will start the IAM topic at any cost from tomorrow's session. Okay. All right. Any questions? If you guys are clear, you guys can leave. If you have any questions, just you can wait and you can ask me. Okay. Thank you, everyone. We'll continue tomorrow with the service called Identity Access Management.